Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick with me? Famous scenes with drama queens and heroes acting out there on a silver screen. Come grab a seat, the popcorn is on me.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
So we're going to spend some time with Jack the Giant Killer. That's right, Jack Ryan. And we're going to be visiting the town of Normal, where things are anything but, on this episode of Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here with Thomas Manning. And, buddy, we got some interviews and we got some reviews, a lot of interviews. So we got a lot to try to cram in to this episode. How are you, Thomas Manning?
Oh, fantastic. Happy to be here. I think we're streaming this live, so we might have at least one non-studio audience member or non-viewer, whatever we call them here on C19. So
the non-viewer mail, we haven't had any of that in a while, so we're still pushing that out. Info at c19.tv. Well, Thomas, let's talk about this new Jack Ryan film that you can find on Amazon Prime. It's an MGM production that's partnered with Amazon Prime, and John Krasinski is that right?
John
Krasinski.
Correct.
Krasinski is back, and Wendell Pierce, Michael Kelly, and we've got a few of those folks to interview today. We couldn't get Krasinski. He found out that I was part of the show, and he said no. But Thomas, let's do this. Do a quick review of this before we get to these interviews.
Yeah, so Jack Ryan Ghost War is directed by Andrew Bernstein, who we also have here on the show, and he previously directed a couple episodes of the series back in season 2. And, I'll say I haven't really kept up with the series past the first season, but I was still able to fully engage with this film, and that is precisely how, Andrew and then John Krasinski, how they concocted this. They said, we want anybody to be able to come in and appreciate this, action, political action, thriller, adventure. And, that's precisely what it was. And, watching stuff like this, I'm fine if, some people might lobby the criticism that, this could have just been another season of the TV series. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but I totally didn't mind watching this within 2 hours and getting my own self-contained story out of it. So I had a really solid time with Jack Ryan Ghost War.
I did too. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do. It had this Mission Impossible kind of vibe to it. Of course, you got the spy stuff going on, but you got some ghosts from the past. That's not why it's called Ghost War, but there are some ghosts from the past that will cause some havoc with some of our leaders, including Wendell Pierce's character, who is now at the beginning of the film, he's the deputy director of the CIA, and some things change early on that changes that dynamic even more. I thought some great action, some great dialogue sequences, especially there's one sequence between Jack Ryan and Greer, who's played by Pierce, that takes place in the MI6 headquarters, and it is dynamic. So you talk about this just kind of back and forth dialogue, really, really phenomenal there. I wish we had more time to go into a deep review, Thomas, but I want to make sure we get these interviews out there. But any final comments you want to make sure you share before we go to the interviews?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the dialogue specifically, because I asked both Wendell Pierce as well as Michael Kelly and Andrew Bernstein about those things specifically and about those scenes, and just creating the tension with the words on the page just as much as the action on the screen. So, like I said, Jack Ryan Ghost War, it is streaming on Amazon Prime on May 20th. Enjoy myself, and I will give this a solid B rating, and I think you're right there with me.
Right there with a solid B rating, and we're happy to have interviews with who we're going to be interviewing. Thomas, who is it? Give the listeners and the viewers a chance one more time to set this up.
Yeah, so we have Wendell Pierce, who stars as the deputy director of the CIA, and we also have Michael Kelly as Mike November, and then director Andrew Bernstein as well. So we got interviews with all those folks here on Meet Me in the Movies. Hey, Wendell, I'm Thomas Manning with Meet Me in the Movies. It's a privilege to chat with you today. Appreciate your time.
Same here. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll get right into it. So, your character's relationship with Jack Ryan evolves quite a bit over the course of this film. And you have multiple dialogue heavy scenes with John Krasinski that
Mhm.
are very significant moments in their journeys, whether they're talking on a park bench or in a conference room. So, can you walk me through how those face-to-face scenes with John in particular helped you unlock the arc of your character, James Greer?
Well, I think that's it's a really good question because the thing I love about the film is while it's an action-packed thriller, an action movie, it is also about the relationships between the characters, and especially when it comes to James Greer and Jack Ryan. And in that, you get to see reflected what we've known as we've developed these characters and researched these characters in the intelligence community. Men and women who have the common ground of the mission, which is to form this more perfect union, but may have differing opinions and or strategies, how to go about it. So there's robust debate and robust discussions about how to go about things. But the one thing that they share is a love of country and a commitment to duty and honor, but all towards the mission, which is to form a more perfect union and to keep it safe. And that's one of the things I learned from the consultants that I met as I challenged them of saying, how can you be a part of the intelligence community? When there are challenges, and that, one in particular told me, I would rather try to do this mission within the CIA instead of outside the CIA. I can have a greater impact and make my contribution to the paradigm from within. And that's what we try to reflect. And that's the thing that makes it unique in the portrayal of intelligence officers and actually very authentic.
Yeah. And I'll also say that your character has many important conversations in this film where he's talking on the phone, cell phones or
Yeah.
office phones. And I'm always fascinated by the art of phone acting.
Yeah.
So what are some of the unique decisions that, go into the process of having an intense conversation on the phone as opposed to an intense conversation where you're sharing a screen with another actor?
It's determined by the conversation in the scene. Sometimes I'll request the other actor, right? Because I want to hear them in particular. Sometimes we actually try to do it as a phone conversation. You don't have to come to set. I'll just do it as a phone conversation. But most of the times, it's really just the lines are read to you by the script supervisor. But it gives you an opportunity. And sometimes I ask not for them to read it at all, so I can create in my own head what I'm hearing on the other side. All of those are just different ways to induce the behavior from you, to get a different read lining, a different line reading from you. In one particular season on Jack Ryan, they actually changed the conversation on the other side, and before I got it, and I was actually in another city when I had to do it, and that was very interesting. I wasn't responding to what ultimately was in the film, but it worked out. But it's about creating the reality so strong that it induces the line reading. That's the most important thing. If an actor, the best way the actor can do it is they have to make sure they hear and know exactly what is coming into their ear, and that
Right.
does the work
Yeah,
for them.
absolutely. Wendell, it was a really privilege to chat with you today, and congrats on the film. I appreciate your time again. Hopefully, we share more conversations in the future.
Thank you, Thomas. Really appreciate it.
All right, my name is Thomas Manning with Meet Me in the Movies. Andrew and Michael, it's great to chat with both of you. Appreciate your time.
What's up, Charlotte?
That's
How
right.
you
That's
doing?
right.
Great to see you.
Yeah, you're in
Pretty
Braves country.
good.
I love it.
Yeah, Carolinas. Yeah.
God.
So I'll send this first question now to the both of you. And something I appreciate about this movie is that many of the scenes where characters are just having a conversation feels just as dynamic as the action sequences. And I'm curious about that contrast there and capturing that feeling. So Andrew, for you as a director, and Michael, for you as an actor, what are some decisions that you're both making in order to create that energy that feels consistent from the action-driven scenes to the more dialogue-driven scenes?
I have to say that is a great question.
Yeah.
And I wish your opening of that question we could put on a poster, because that's exactly the sort of the idea we want in these movies. Obviously they're a thrill ride in terms of the action, but we want the character development and the scenes that are in action to be as dynamic and as exciting and as eye-opening for the audience as the action sequences are. I think that's what makes the best kinds of movies, certainly these kinds of movies. So we were very cognizant that the scenes between the actors need to feel real and fresh and fun at times, and super serious, obviously, at times. And balancing that out is the trick of these movies, so that it just doesn't feel like it's wall-to-wall action, but that when you stop doing the action, that you actually have scenes that make sense and further the character. The reason for making the movie is that we learn more about Jack Ryan and our other characters. So if we don't have that in the movie, then the action kind of falls flat, I think. So that's a great question, because it's super important in our minds to sort of make sure it all feels of one, but that the scenes with the characters, when they're not driving cars and boats and all the other stuff they do in this movie, that they're equally as dynamic. And these guys are so good that it's kind of easy for them to pull it off.
Michael, anything you want to jump in with there?
Yeah, I think the movie doesn't work if you don't have that. If you don't have these characters' relationships so established, and we're fortunate that we had 4 years to establish these characters. If you look at the way Mike November changed from the beginning of season 2 to the end of season 2, it was based on our real life interaction as people, that they sort of ended up writing a little bit towards that, and that's how you saw Mike change. And so we had a long time, many years to establish these relationships and these characters. And I think that's what makes the film work so well. That beautiful heartfelt scene with Wendell in the rain, where I say this is family. We're the only family we're ever gonna have. And that's just a nod to the folks at the CIA, that we're trying to do our best to represent.
Yeah. And Michael, kind of expanding more on some of those physically demanding action sequences. I know you're no stranger to those throughout your career. And, as a former cross-country athlete myself, I have to ask, how much you're still drawing from your days. I think Coastal Carolina University is where you ran. When you
That's right.
find yourself in those scenes that required that athleticism, is any of that still ingrained from you from those days?
Of course. I mean, I certainly found, there's a great chase scene, and not a lot of it ended up on screen in the end, but I get to haul ass, and I get to sprint at full speed. And of course, those days from Brookwood back in Georgia to now, to later Coastal Carolina, like those running days, it helped. And that shape, that metabolism, all that stuff that you do early in your life, you get to carry it throughout. So put in the work when you're young, and it'll help you when you're older like me.
Definitely.
Wait, what do you mean a lot of it didn't end up on the screen? I take offense to that, Michael. I think we got a lot of your running in that movie.
Could have been more. I'm just saying, there could have been more.
You
We'll get more
tackle
the
some
next
guy?
one.
Come on.
The tackle was
Talk
cool. That was rad.
like,
Oh man. And real quick, I'd like to ask both of you about working with Sienna Miller, who I thought was just phenomenal here. Really great addition here. Can you generally speak to her as an actor, and what stood out to you about your experiences collaborating with her?
Just how damn good she is. And I mean it, man. That woman is a force. And as equally mind-blowing as she is as an actor, she is as a person. She slid right in with us and became family almost from day one. She's an incredible woman, and we are so lucky to have her in the franchise.
yeah, I mean, it's everything Michael just said. I mean, making these movies is, in a way, a leap of faith. You have to sort of trust that, when we ask you to sort of run and jump and jump off things and shoot guns and all this stuff, that you're going to look great. And Sienna just jumped in and was like a pro, as if she'd been doing it for forever. And this was really her first action movie, and you would never know it. So it's sort of like, I'm so excited for the audience to see that side of her. As Michael said, she's an amazing actress, but she's also an amazing actress in this action movie and doing all that stuff. So it's going to be fun for the audience to see it.
Well, we've got to wrap here, but I appreciate both of you. It was a pleasure to chat, and hopefully share more conversations in the future.
Right on, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
brother.
so much.
Thank you.
Be good.
Well, thank you so much to Wendell Pierce, Michael Kelly, and Andrew Bernstein for joining us here on Meet Me in the Movies. Michael Kelly, he has some Carolina connections himself, so you saw him speak to that. It's always good to see some of that representation, and we'll be right back here on Meet Me in the Movies with more interviews and more talk about some action mayhem in the film Normal, and we have the star Bob Odenkirk on the show as well. So thank you all for tuning in to Meet Me in the Movies. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hi, I'm Tim Foster, your host for Bull and Bold Monthly right here on C19 TV. Get to know the coaches and student athletes of Cleveland Community College Athletics on Bull and Bold. We go in depth as we discuss cross country, track and field, volleyball, baseball, men and women's basketball, and softball. Catch Bull and Bold airing on C19 TV and online at c19.tv.
We always have had
That's
a
true.
certain courtesy to other people upon their retirement or somebody's passing.
I got something nice to say about our retirement.
Well, we're not.
Good riddance.
Oh, was it you?
First, he put giant flagpoles on the White House lawn like it was a Buc-ee's, and then he cemented over the Rose Garden. Then he turned the Oval Office into a place that looks like a New Orleans cat house.
Well, I'm sure President Obama evaluated both candidates and went with the best one, better one.
Yeah, one of
But
them
I
had a D
was-
by her name.
Well, one cannot help but wonder why. Betsy, one possibility would be that the Hurricanes are now afraid to enter the newly named Gulf of America while Trump's in the White House.
Want to stay connected to everything happening at Cleveland Community College? C19's monthly show In the Loop brings you the stories, updates, and the highlights that matter most right from campus. From program spotlights and upcoming events to alumni interviews and college updates, In the Loop keeps you informed and engaged. Catch home game schedules for all CCC athletics, plus fun and meaningful conversations with the Yeti along the way. Whether you're a student, employee, alumni, or supporter of CCC, this is your inside look at life on campus. Tune in monthly on C19 and stay in the loop with Cleveland Community College.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hello and welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here. And the first half of the show, we spent some time talking about Jack Ryan, Ghost War. You can find that on Amazon Prime now. So Thomas, on this half of the show, we've got Bob Odenkirk, and we're going to be spending some time reviewing briefly the film Normal that you can find on digital now.
Yeah, so this film is directed by Ben Wheatley, who's had a pretty eclectic filmography, and he's dabbled in multiple different genres, but I think specifically as an action director, he has some, he's very strong in that regard, which got to talk to Bob a little bit about. But I think what we're seeing with this film and with this new stage in Bob Odenkirk's career is his partnership with the writer Derek Kolstad, and Derek Kolstad wrote the John Wick films. He created the John Wick character. He also wrote the film Nobody with Bob Odenkirk a few years ago, and he wrote this film as well. And I think just there are these characters that feel Coen-esque with a little bit more of an edge to them, and the characters and storylines that both feel kind of that with that same tone, and I think that's what makes Normal really successful to me.
Yeah, I love the characters, and for the first, I guess, 30 minutes or so, maybe the first 45 minutes, you're setting up these characters and getting a chance to see what's happening in this town. Odenkirk literally just passing through. He's an interim sheriff. And, he's there until the next guy takes over. And that's the way he likes it. That's the way he wants it. And it just so happens that that's not going to be the case. And he has to go into some full-blown violence and mayhem. And it's done, some of it's done kind of tongue-in-cheek. So there's a comic element to some of this as well. As you mentioned, kind of that Coen-esque feel with the characters. I think there's also the Coen-esque feel with some of the violence. and the violence itself is very, very R-rated. So we'll just go ahead and set that up right now. But in this particular movie, it works. And Thomas, you and I were talking about another series another movie, a one shot from Marvel, the Punisher Punisher Last Kill. Was that it? Punisher Last Kill.
Yeah, first kill, last kill. I don't know. He's going to kill somebody else regardless. So.
But yeah, this is not going to be his first or last. But that we both watched that and we were just utterly disappointed because it rehashed everything about this post traumatic stress that Frank Castle's going through, and it was just all violence, and there was no purpose for it other than, okay, let's just see what kind of, how many people, what's the body count. That's all that I got out of The Punisher because I had seen everything else before.
And sometimes those movies can be fun, but there's got to be, the lead into it has to be satisfying, emotionally, and I did not feel that whatsoever with Punisher Last Kill. I felt like for the first 20 minutes they were just like, oh wow, look how edgy we are. We're like the Joker, the 2019 Joker is kind of what I was thinking about. And the issue I had with that film was it felt like someone's idea of an artistic film who doesn't watch artistic films, and this with Punisher Last Kill, I kind of felt like it's someone's idea of a cool action movie who just never really watches that kind of thing, and it just really kind of bothered me watching it. I took no joy in it, but on the total flip side of that, the film Normal, the introduction to the characters and the situation and the circumstances is so much more efficient and makes you actually kind of prepares you for the violence that you're going to feel on the second half of the movie. And it feels earned and feels like something that you get there and you're like, I understand what led to this.
Absolutely, yeah. And so for me, the Punisher, the new Punisher, a D rating for me. I was incredibly disappointed in that. What about you?
Yeah, I'm totally fine giving it a D rating as well. But but Normal.
What about Normal?
Yeah, Normal. You know what? I will give that a solid A minus. Yeah. For Normal.
Well, I'm B plus, so I'm right there with you on that, and thoroughly enjoyed that. Well, let's talk to Bob Odenkirk. I know you had a chance to do an interview with him, and let's give me a little setup, and then we'll come back and wrap the show.
Yeah, well, since Bob Odenkirk is an action star, I had to talk to him a little bit about that. So that's kind of the question that kicks things off here, and specifically as it relates to working with Ben Wheatley. Hi, and thanks for joining us here on Me Read the Movies. This is Thomas Manning, and we have a special guest on the show this week. He's a guy who originally comes from a comedy background with the likes of Saturday Night Live and Late Night with Conan O'Brien. He's ventured into some dramatic roles over the years. You might know him from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He starred in feature films from auteur directors like Alexander Payne and Steven Spielberg. And even more recently, he's turned over a new leaf, becoming a bona fide action movie star. That's right, we have Bob Odenkirk here on Meet Me in the Movies talking about his new film Normal, which is directed by Ben Wheatley and written by Derek Kolstad. And Odenkirk himself co-wrote the story along with Kolstad. Normal is available now on digital and anywhere you rent your movies. And I will go ahead and pitch it over to my conversation with Bob Odenkirk. Thank you all for tuning in here on Meet Me in the Movies. All right. Hey, Bob, I'm Thomas Manning with Meet Me in the Movies. It's great to meet you. I appreciate your time.
Good to meet you, Thomas.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll jump right into it. I'm curious about your collaboration with director Ben Wheatley. I know this was your first time working with him, and I've always been taken by his action design and his eye for creating, complex set pieces. So for you as an actor, what were some things that struck you about Ben Wheatley specifically when it comes to his direction of action sequences?
Well, I mean, first of all, we were very lucky to have Ben Wheatley direct this movie, Normal. He did such a beautiful job. The fact that the movie has so many different tones in it, I really think there aren't many directors who could have balanced the variety of styles and tonal shifts in the movie Normal the way that Ben Wheatley did. I saw his movie Free Fire, and I saw samples of his other films, and what I knew was that Ben takes his time with the character development. And he allows actors, even in an action film, to have a character with some subtlety and some texture. And so that's why we went with Ben Wheatley. And then all of his skills came together in the making of Normal.
Right. And you've played a couple characters now written by Derek Kolstad. So from your perspective as an actor who's bringing these characters off the page, what are some things you appreciate about the characters that Derek creates as a writer?
I mean, they have past. They carry a lot of weight. There's something that's happened to them, and you can feel it in every word that they say. And so I like that. I like that he's not afraid to take the character and the story to a conceptual movie place. You know, there's so many things in the movie Normal that you can only see in the movies. And they really, as a comedy writer, those are things that I made fun of when I wrote comedy. All conceptualization, all the things where things become magical, I make fun of that in comedy. Well, Derek is not afraid to write it. He's got the heart of a kid who loves movies, and I want to give the audience that movie experience, that journey into another place that's a little bit more of a myth.
Right. Yeah. And I really enjoyed the narrative device in this film of having your character, Sheriff Ulysses, leaving voicemails to his ex-wife, and that kind of acts as narration for the movie. So what does a unique storytelling device like that give to you as an actor, and how does that kind of help you find your character?
It gives them an interior life. I'm always looking for that. You know, you read the words on the page, you have the characters' professed story, what they claim to be after, what they claim to be doing in this moment, in this story. And then you have the secret story of what's in their past or what they're yearning for. And those are things that are usually not stated, or at least not stated till the end of the film. Or in the case of a TV show, they don't come out, they don't become apparent until later in the storytelling. But it's something that you deduce as an actor, or sometimes you're told it. You know, the writer will tell you, this is what's in this character's past. This is why he's motivated in these ways.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Bob, it was a privilege sharing a conversation with you today. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we speak more again in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, that was Bob Odenkirk talking about Normal, which is available now on digital. Thank you, Mr. Odenkirk, for sharing your time with us here on Naming the Movies, and you are now officially a friend of the show. You're welcome back anytime.
Thomas, really appreciate all your work this week. As always, great interviews, and Normal is available on digital now. So if you are interested in checking out this film after watching the interviews, you can do that. And also, the new Jack Ryan, Ghost War, is available on Amazon Prime now as well. Any final thoughts or comments you want to make sure you share, Thomas, before we wrap today?
Oh, yeah. Well, if John Krasinski ever wants to come on the show, you know, Noel doesn't have to be a part of it. And we can just schedule it independently and not even let my co-host know about it. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. And you know, I think it has to do with me making fun of his hair at one point when he was on The Office. And
well, it was a pretty bad haircut. Yeah.
But at least he had something on the top of his head. So there you go. Well, Thomas, thank you, buddy. And for all of our viewers and who spend time with us, we do appreciate you as well. We hope you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, I'm Noel T. Manning II. For Thomas Manning and the entire cast and crew of Meet Me at the Movies on Spectrum Channel C19 TV, that is a wrap.
To view until we meet again. Next time we see you, we'll gladly fill you in. We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.